Welcome to, just kidding. There we go. Welcome to the January 23rd, 2025 meeting of the Village of Pinehurst Historic Preservation Commission. The purpose of the commission is to decide applications for certificates of appropriateness for new construction or major work within the Pinehurst Historic District, and to do so by conducting hearings and making findings of fact when such applications come before us. By law, the commission is directed to take no action except to prevent construction or alterations that would be incongruous with the special character of the historic district. I am Kara Mathis, the vice chair of the commission, acting as chair today. I ask each commissioner, starting from my far left, to state his or her name for the record.
Joe Iverson.
David Herring.
Paul Roberts.
Justin Bramlage.
Richard Vincent is absent, but we have a quorum, so we can proceed. Also present are Jean Ann Dawson, man, one day I will get this. Maria Klein, and you're here, okay, and Michael Mandeville. Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of our last meeting. All commissioners have been provided with copies of the draft minutes. Does any commissioner have any changes to suggest? Then may I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So moved.
Motion by David.
Second.
And seconded by Joe. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, we are now in the public hearing. So now I guess Maria is going to...
Well, we're not in the public hearing yet, but
Oh,
before
okay, we're
we
not.
do
Before we enter the public hearing.
as you went through and everybody introduced yourselves, you notice we have a new member, Paul Roberts. This will be his first meeting with us. Paul's been doing stuff here since even before I started, so he probably knows more about this than I do, but he was in our Planning and Zoning Board before, and now he is going to honor us with his presence on historic preservation. So I think 6 years on planning and zoning.
It seemed like a longer. Yes.
I can imagine that. So if you want to tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Well, appreciate the opportunity to work with you all and continue to help out Pinehurst. But my background, I did a little bit last week when I got the head nod from the council. But my background is military. That's how I got to this area. Been here since '92. Bought my first home in Pinehurst in '99, and then became a full-time resident in 2008. Just work and traveling kept me away from being a full-time person here. Enjoy the area. My family's here, and it's home. So look forward to contributing where I can. I'll try to keep my mouth shut and not ask too many questions and ears open. And, the first couple meetings, so I learn and kind of understand the culture and the attitude here. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, now you can make a motion to enter the public hearing.
All right, wait, was that the motion that we said? Darn it. Okay, now we're in the public hearing, right?
Did we make a motion?
I
We
move
did.
to recess the regular meeting and enter into the public hearing.
Okay, so moved. Or motion by Justin. Okay.
Second.
Seconded by Joe. Okay, now we're in the public hearing. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. That means that anyone desiring to testify must be sworn in, and the commission is required to consider only facts presented in this hearing. The proceedings are video recorded. Okay, I asked the commissioner, well, do you want me to do the schedule thing first? The agenda change? Or should I go through the sites? Okay, I asked the commissioners if they have visited any of the sites on our docket today and whether they have had any ex parte communications with respect to any of the cases we'll be considering today. We'll start with Joe.
No ex parte communication.
And visited all the sites?
Yes.
Visited both sites and no ex parte communication.
Visited all, no communication.
I visited all the sites, no ex parte communication.
Visited 2 sites and no communications.
Visited all sites, no ex parte communication.
In each case that the commission will hear this afternoon, staff will first present a summary of the application, the staff's evaluation of the extent to which the application complies with the commission's standards for such an application or raises issues that require further information, the staff's comments on the application, and, where appropriate, the staff's recommendations for commission action. The application and its supporting documents, as well as the staff's detailed report, will then be entered into the record. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question staff about this report and testimony. Next, the applicant or the applicant's representatives will have an opportunity to provide any additional information supporting the application and to address any questions or issues identified in staff's testimony. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question the applicant witnesses. After the applicant's presentation, if any member of the public wishes to present any evidence either in support of or in opposition to the application, please come forward at that time and identify yourself. I will swear you in and give you an opportunity to present any reasons why you believe that the application should be granted or denied. Please remember the commission is interested in facts that will help us decide whether the proposed work would be congruous with the special character of the Pinehurst Historic District. As acting chair, I have the right to exclude testimony that isn't relevant to that subject, but I'm not required to do so. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question you about your testimony. If the applicant or staff wishes to respond to your testimony, I will permit them to do so. I will now swear in members of staff. Will all staff members who may give evidence in this proceeding please stand, raise your right hand, and state your name for the record.
Maria Klein.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to all the cases on our docket today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and just a note on the agenda, we currently have 45 Campbell Road as, it was last and it has now been moved to first. So we will hear that applicant first, or case first.
Ready?
Ready.
All right. So 45 Campbell Road has requested that we continue their COA until the February meeting. So we just need a motion to continue.
So moved.
Motion by David,
Second.
seconded by Justin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The motion passes and 45 Campbell will be moved to the February meeting.
All right. So our second COA. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for the addition of a screened-in porch at 75 McCaskill Road East. The property is identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-13907. The property owners are John and Joanne Kulka, and the applicant is Jim Jones. So the applicant is proposing to build a screened-in porch over an already existing brick patio in the rear of the house. The roofing and the siding will all match the existing dwelling as well as the color. And this is major work requiring review by this board because it is new construction or additions that are not considered to be minor work. The meeting was noticed in accordance with the PDO and North Carolina general statutes, and you can see the subject parcel in the hashed out area with the properties that were notified outlined in red. And here we have just a drawing of the rear elevation. So you can see they'll be adding a roof to it along with the siding. The existing brick patio is already there, so it'll be built right on top of that. And here's the existing brick patio on the rear of the house. The applicant has submitted an application and provided documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. You will need to determine if the addition of the screened-in porch is congruous with the historic district and if it meets the historic district standards. And I would like to submit into the record the staff report with the attachments and exhibits, this presentation, and the application and applicant's materials and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Do the commissioners have questions for staff? All right, thank you. We will now hear from the applicant. Is the applicant or their representative present? All right, please come forward to the standing microphone. And please state your name, spell your last name for the record, and state your relationship to the property.
Jim Jones, Jones, and I'm the general contractor on the job.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, you have been sworn in, and you can come sit up here if you'd like, if you're more comfortable. If there is anything in the presentation by staff that you disagree with or would like to revise or clarify, or anything that you'd like to add in support of the application, this is your opportunity to do so.
I don't believe so.
All right.
Questions?
Yep, do the commissioners have any questions? Okay, David does.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how are you, sir?
Brave the snow and ice. Glad to see you here.
Oh, yeah.
On your photograph, it looks like the brick, the existing brick around the existing patio is about 5 framing will come right down to the top of the brick patio, not the little wall.
It will come to the top of the wall, I'm sorry, yes.
To the top of the wall?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the photographs don't show that, but the intent, the drawings don't show that. The intent is to start the screening at the top of the existing brick.
Yes, we're not going to affect the wall at all, yes.
Okay, one other thing outside of our purview, but on the side, if you're looking at the rear elevation of your screen porch, one that shows the door, on the left side of that gable, there'll be a bit of a challenge to get that to drain since you have 2 sloping roofs coming together. You're aware?
Yes, most likely there's going to be a semi-flat valley pan there with
Okay.
a rubber section that won't be visible from the ground, but yes.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence, either in support of or in opposition to the application? If so, please come forward at this time and identify yourself. All right, seeing none. Okay, I guess the record in this case is closed, and the commissioners will deliberate. Any
Nothing for me.
deliberation?
Thank
No?
you.
Anything? No? All right, are we ready for a motion?
Motion.
Okay.
I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness, COA 2024-00160, and find the proposed major work at 75 McCaskill Road East is consistent with historic district standards and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on the testimony given, the materials submitted, and the findings of fact.
All right, so moved by Angelique. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Paul. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. All right, the motion passes. Congratulations. You have your certificate of appropriateness.
All right. Ready for our second COA?
Ready.
All right, this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for modifications to the facade and tree removal at 280 Linden Road. The property is identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-27982. The property owner is Kate McWhirter, and the applicant is Ronald Davidson. And the applicant is proposing to paint the brick facade white. They've chosen Benjamin Moore White Heron. And they'll be painting the trim with Benjamin Moore Tarrytown Green. And they're also requesting to remove 2 trees from the front yard. This is major work because it is the removal of healthy trees 12 inches or larger in diameter at breast height along the street side of a property that are not located in the right-of-way, and minor work items that are not approved by the village planner. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the PDO and North Carolina general statutes. Again, the subject property is in the hashed out area, and the properties that were notified are outlined in red. So you can see pictures of the existing house. All the brick will be painted white, and then trim will be painted the Tarrytown green. They have gutters that will be white. The siding will also be white. So they've kind of written in with little arrows all the different things that will be painted, but basically the trim will be green and the brick and siding will be white. And then the 2 trees in the front of the house were marked for you to go by and see them, and I just kind of added in a street view so you could see the 2 trees in the back that they're asking to be removed. So the applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. Your job is to determine if the painting of the brick and the removal of the trees is congruous with the historic district and if it meets the historic district standards. And I'd like to submit into the record the staff report with attachments and exhibits, this presentation, as well as the application and applicant's materials and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Do the commissioners have questions for staff?
I do.
All right, let's do,
But it's the same question.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. The photograph that shows 2 trees in the front yard, 2 with blue tape around them,
Yes,
those are the only ones coming down?
yes, that I'm aware of.
And the reason, are they sick or diseased or?
I'm going to leave that question for the applicant.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Mm-hmm.
There were more than,
Yeah. There was a lot of blue surveyor's tape.
yes. So,
Were they in the front yard?
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Sorry.
There's,
There's like 9 of them.
oh, they
Well-
say
He's
like many more.
All right, well,
nodding.
let's discuss with the applicant.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? Thank you. We will now hear from the applicant. Is the applicant or the representative present? Perfect. You know the drill. Please come forward to the standing microphone. Please state your name, spell your last name for the record, and state your relationship to the property.
Ron Davidson, D-A-V-I-D-S-O-N. I'm a general contractor for the applicant.
All right. Your right hand is already up. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, you have been sworn in. Feel free to come take a seat. If there is anything in the presentation by staff that you disagree with or would like to revise or clarify, or anything that you would like to add in support of the application, this is your opportunity to do so.
There was about 10 trees marked or banded out of 43. There's 43 trees in the front yard, not on the right of way, so there's probably 50 trees. And there was 10 of them marked, and some of them are damaged, some have split trunks, and just want to thin out the herd, get some light in the property.
So can I clarify, it's not just 2 trees, it was every tree that had a blue,
Correct.
okay,
The bands are still on there.
correct, yes, yes, sir.
So if what's in the application is 2 trees, are we making a decision on all of the trees then? Or just those 2 trees?
The only ones I have supporting documentation for from the application are those 2 trees.
Okay.
So,
To help the applicant, the 2 trees we're speaking of are indicated in a photograph that Maria took. Have you seen that photograph?
Yes.
So you're saying it's not just those trees, it's all the trees with
Correct.
blue tape?
And I was told that staff would go out there and look at the property and, check the trees out.
Okay, thank you.
And, you know, I don't know if there was bad weather or what, but
Okay, so just to clarify, we are making the decision on just those 2 trees. So whatever comes out of this,
My understanding is the applicant is revising his application to include all blue banded trees. Is that right?
No, it was always that way.
Understand, but the way it was provided to us, it showed only 2. We understand that that is not your intent. Your
Correct.
intent is to cut down all the trees with blue tape.
Correct. There's 10 trees out of 43.
Understood.
okay, so we would have to make a revision when we make the motion that it would include all blue banded trees. Okay, do you have anything else to clarify with the commission?
No, it was all painting the brick, tearing the gutters off, putting new gutters on and shutters, and that's it.
All right, do the commissioners have questions or other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I do. So there's 40 trees in the front yard approximately?
Pardon me?
There's 40 trees in the front yard?
Yeah,
43?
43, plus the ones at the street side of the right-of-way,
Okay.
right?
Those are in the 43 count?
Not counting the ones in the right-of-way.
Okay,
43.
not counting. Okay, thank you. Okay, and there's 9, or was it 10 that you're asking to remove?
One's not a pine tree, but, you know, there's 10 trees marked.
Looks like some of them are pretty close to the house. Was there concerns with them, their proximity to the house? Or is this just to remove trees to
It's just
open the space up?
It's just overgrown. And, you know, besides the damaged trees, just want to get some light on the property. It's the new property owner, and she just wants to make it look good.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
I have a question. What is the owner's, I guess, purpose or thinking in wanting to paint the brick?
It's kind of a beigey brick now, and she just wants to paint it. It looks drab to her. She wants to brighten it up.
All right, any other questions?
Questions?
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, if there is any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence either in support of or in opposition to the application, please come forward at this time and identify yourself. All right. Okay, the record in this case is now closed and the commissioners will deliberate. So you're welcome to go back to your seat or
Okay,
hang out if you want.
Thank you.
So could I, go ahead, David.
Two things from my perspective. The standards are quite clear. Painting a brick is not appropriate. The second thing is that removing trees that would unreasonably compromise the existing tree canopy is not acceptable. Must not unreasonably compromise the existing tree canopy. If there was a compelling reason that a tree was about to fall on a house, that would be one thing. Or if this tree was sick, we don't know which ones those are, if any. In my mind, taking out the blue banded trees would most definitely compromise the existing tree canopy. Sounds like that's the stated intent of the applicant.
I was going to bring up the paint as well. It explicitly states not appropriate to paint brick that is not currently painted. I wrestle with that one a lot because the colors are very congruous with Pinehurst. I think the argument of a white painted brick with green shutters is just about as congruous as it gets to our village. But to David's point and to the regulations point, it's not appropriate. and I'm curious why it comes up for a vote if the regulation explicitly states that they're not allowed to do it, I guess, would be my question.
Yeah, I fully understand about the trees, but I think trees that are so close to the home, we need to look at considering, what's going on, in some of the areas that, vegetation's so close to the home, whether it be a ice storm, and fully appreciate, what the guidelines and the documents have, but, this is where a board can apply some, objective thought and say, hey, if that was my home, I may want to remove trees away from proximity to my house. Ice storm, windstorm, hurricane, or, what they're experiencing in California with fires. So, I mean, I would recommend kind of like a relook or reattack at the, which tree specifically.
Could you, sorry, could you just flip back to the photo that shows the 2 trees that we initially thought? Just while Paul's talking. Thank you.
Can also be trimmed, or the branches that are close to the home can be trimmed without removing an entire healthy tree. If that's a
Well, I think that,
concern.
I think if I was a homeowner, and again, I don't want to put words in someone's mouth, but again, just looking at it, if I was a homeowner, I would not want, a 20-inch trunk sitting 10 feet from my house. This area, we are prone for high winds and hurricanes. We just experienced an ice storm. I've been here where hundreds of trees have come down in an ice storm in Pinehurst. I just look at it as, do we want to make decisions that may alleviate problems in the future? And I think vegetation that close to a living dwelling, could make an exception for that.
Now, are you referring to only those 2
Well,
trees? Or?
those are the only 2 that I saw in the picture. I did do a drive-by, and I didn't count 10 blue bands, and that was just on my error. But as I look at this picture, I would, contend, and I will continue probably while I'm on the board, is any tree that could put that building, that structure at risk, and someone inside, when there is an ice storm, hurricane, or, as the applicant mentioned, some of them are damaged. I don't know if the 2 that are visible in that picture are damaged or not, but, there needs to be some precautionary measures done to protect yourself and protect your, property.
Couple things. The applicant has applied to cut them all down. If he wishes to come back with a modified application, we could vote on that. I'm not in a position to decide for the applicant which trees he wants to cut down and which ones he wants to change his mind about. So there is a way to do that. We could give him a continuation, and we could do it that way. But I don't want to decide for him. Secondly, I think one of the most overriding features, special characters of Pinehurst are the pine trees. They are what we're all about. If those trees are very mature trees, my guess is they're approaching 100 feet tall. And going by the idea that if a tree can fall on your house, it's 100 feet tall, that means you can't have any trees for 100 feet around your house. That's a little excessive.
Yeah, and I would disagree with that statement that they wouldn't fall. Something within 10 feet has a higher probability of falling than something that's 99 feet away.
Absolutely. If the applicant had said to us, just these 2, I could find my way clear, because they are close and it would not have a major impact on the overall canopy. But I don't want to make that decision for him.
Could we make since the original application and the supporting documents were just for these 2 trees, could we just make that motion just for those 2 trees? Like, instead of making the condition, that it's all trees or whatever, I guess the condition would just be those original 2 trees.
You can, if they want to come back, it's another application and fee.
Yeah.
Or a continuation.
Or you can continue it, so
Okay.
they can
We could ask him
modify
which way he'd prefer.
Because I didn't see all the different banded ones. Some of them might not be 12 inches, which would not fall under your purview, so.
Yeah, I think at least several of them, because I looked and I was like, well, maybe these are under 12 inches, but a lot of them were over.
There are a couple, probably 16 or 18
Yeah.
inches. They're very mature.
Joe, did you have something?
No, I just thought there was a third tree in the pictures. I agree with the proximity of the trees to the house, and I would be that way too as a homeowner about safety and foundation, structure the foundation with roots and all that. But I thought there in the pictures there was a third tree that was very close.
There was a, looked like maybe a crepe myrtle or a dogwood or.
Marked blue too. I mean, there was more pictures than this, wasn't there?
In the exhibits?
Yes. I think you scrolled through, there was one more picture, if I'm not mistaken.
You can see a little in the last picture, a few.
Those for two for sure, but I thought there was a. Nope. Yep, stop. Was that just on the right of the garage?
It looks to me like the two in that one photo, Joe, and
Two
the
in
one by the
but I thought
garage.
there was a third one on that right of the garage was marked also?
Yeah, that's this one.
Yeah, that's marked.
Yes, it is.
Three, right next to the house. Not two.
I think, is that the back of the house, though?
That's in the rear, so again, that wouldn't be under your purview.
Well,
There's
well,
three.
the third tree is in the backyard, not up to us. Front yard only. Right?
Correct.
So the options are to make the decision now, or do we vote on the continuation? Or do we have to reopen and bring the applicant back in?
Let me make a suggestion. That we offer to the applicant a continuation, or let us vote and he takes his chances. I can tell the applicant that I would vote for 2 or 3, that's it. And if the other members of the commission would like to
You can
say
take a
anything.
poll and see how everybody's feeling, but that's perfectly fair. Offer the option to continue, otherwise it is a return trip.
Okay, so should I reopen then? Because we haven't closed this, right? So can I reopen the evidentiary?
If you want to have discussion with him, if you just want to ask if he's open to continuing.
Oh, okay, we don't have to reopen that. No, wait, are we allowed to have discussion, or is this just a question? Are we just asking the question?
Just the question. If
Yes,
you want
so,
to do more evidence, then we need to open the evidentiary portion.
We had an arborist out there, and I didn't take any pictures of the trees. I just took it of the house for the color scheme we're gonna do. And I was told that staff would send a group of people out there and look at the trees, and then they could tell us which trees we wanted to take 10 trees down. They could tell us what was allowed. I mean, there's damaged trees, there's trees so close together that they can't grow any farther. You know, the branches are tied together.
What would you like to do?
yeah, so we can extend a continuation for, I guess, February.
Continuation is great.
Okay,
You know, and if you want me to take pictures of the front yard, I can do that. Or we can meet with the tree guy out, you know, with the staff.
okay.
I think the appropriate thing would be for you to work with staff about what to do next.
Correct.
The continuation buys you time to come up with a change to your application.
Okay. I mean,
You don't have to pay for the fee again, that's the big,
we can't paint now anyway.
well, we haven't voted yet, I'm only one.
Yeah. We're on one topic. Okay. Oh gosh, I don't think this is in my script. So now we will vote on, do we vote on a continuation?
Now, if he's good with continuing it to February, then just make a motion to continue it to the February meeting.
Okay,
So moved.
all right. Yes, motion by David?
Specifically for the tree continuation.
Yes.
Second.
We're continuing the entire
We
application.
have to do the whole application.
Are we finished discussing everything for this application?
Did you, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah,
So
if-
then we'll
Okay.
pick up in February. So motion by David?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Joe. So this case has been continued to the February meeting.
All in favor?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now it has been continued. So we will pick that up in the February meeting. Thank you. Okay, and I guess that concludes the public hearing.
It does.
All right. May I have a motion to close the public hearing and return to the regular commission meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Justin. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Angelique. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The motion passes and we are now in a regular meeting. This is a public meeting and you are all welcome to stay and observe, but only members of the commission and its staff may speak. Everyone's been provided with a copy of the minor work and staff approvals. Is there any other business?
Just one recommendation, obviously, I'm new here, so just kind of figuring things out, but, you know, recommendation, you know, then for the staff, and it may help us, is obviously when an applicant comes in with a major work and it's involving trees, you can tell that our attention immediately went to trees and nothing else. You know, we may want to recommend that they really map them out, and if an arborist was there, and they could cite, you know, with a professional opinion, hey, this tree's damaged, you know, has a higher risk of falling, whether it be falling on Linden Road, falling wherever it may be. I think that would help us probably, you know, make a better informed decision on what trees stay, what trees go.
And I think you guys try to do that, right? To have a strong application, but it's kind of up to the applicant to
Yep.
give whatever they,
Yep.
yeah.
Yes, and normally we do have a site plan that shows which trees and everything, but that's all I thought this application had, was
Yeah.
2 trees on it. That's all he gave me documentation for.
Okay, thank you.
Despite the guidance, the wise guidance by our staff, they do what they do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yep. Yeah, you only receive what you're given, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All righty. Our next regular meeting will be, will be on February 27th, 2025 at 4 p.m. in this room, unless changed. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by David, and Paul, would you like to second?
Sure, second.
It's seconded by Paul. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The motion passes and we are adjourned.